when we came to Hebron, in the beginning, we rented a hotel, and then afterwards, Moshe Dayan, who was the defense minister, he moved us to the military compound. And we waited in the military compound, and then we had arguments with Moshe Dayan, and he decided to build Kiryat Arba. And at the time, my husband, he was part of the movement called Eretz Yisrael Shleba, and there was Uri Tzvi Greenberg, and he warned my husband. He said, they're building you a neighborhood because they want to get you out of Hebron, and in the end they're going to come with a broom and sweep you away. So he said to my husband, you have to take care, but we made a vote amongst all our friends who were living in the compound, and they liked the opportunity to go live in a neighborhood with normal houses because we lived in very bad conditions there. So we moved to Kiryat Arba, and sure enough, after 9 years, came the first Bagatz. The Arabs appealed to the courts against the enlarging the borders of Kiryat Arba, and my husband made a meeting in our house, and he said what to do. And Baruch Nachshon, the Chabad artist, he said, the reason this is happening to us is because when we came, we wanted to live in the field of the Machpelah, which is the holy site. And because we agreed to move away from Hebron proper, which is the field of the Machpelah, the city of Hebron, downtown Hebron is the field of the Machpelah, he said, in the end you'll see we won't have Kiryat Arba and we won't have Hebron. And so I was sitting with some women, and we decided he was right, and that was the reason. The women got together, and I went to my husband and told him that the women want to return to Hebron. Because the reason we said only the women was we were afraid that the army, if there would be men there, the army would kick out the men and, and on the side, take out the women. So the women settled into the Beit Hadassah, and in the beginning it was very difficult, but gradually it caught on, and we started expanding inside of Hebron, and now we have a few neighborhoods. And now my son-in-law, Rabbi Sharbaf, he bought the first houses here in Hebron from the Arabs, which is in the field of the Machpelah. And to me it was always clear that, how they say in Hebrew, Maaseh Avot Siman Lebanim, that the deeds that the fathers did, that is the case for the children. So I always felt very strongly that you had the first part of history. Abraham lived here, and Isaac and Jacob, and they bought the land in Hebron. And then King David, he ruled first in Hebron. And then, because of things I read and people whom I spoke to, I understood that in this phase of history, the history also will start in Hebron. And if we just manage to buy Hebron and settle, then this will open up the new phase of history. Hebron came from absolutely nothing. We weren't that talented, and we didn't have that much PR, and we didn't have campaigners, and the newspapers weren't particularly with us, and it came because God decided, and we understood that we are doing. I saw when my husband, the way he went from period to period, and I saw that God is blessing him, and so I understood that this is right, that to occupy Eretz Yisrael and to buy up the land. And Rabbi Tzvi Yehuda at the time, the Talmidim, they came to him and they said, a lot of this property is really ours. He said, buy it 10 times. The main thing is that in the end it's yours. So that was a sign for us not to pay attention to the price, but if we could capable of buying, we should buy and buy and buy, because that's what went wrong, that we didn't start with this phase of history in that direction. And so I call on everybody, be part of our vision. It's our vision, it's your vision, and it's the obligation of the Jewish people to redeem Eretz Yisrael, because the redemption of Eretz Yisrael is the key to the Geula.